One, two, three. I think the mics are working. Can you hear me okay? Welcome, everyone. Bienvenidos. We're here for our dear, dear, dear friend, the beloved Miss Purple, and the indelible mark that she left on our hearts, our spirits, the way we bumped horns. She and I used to just argue about the process and this. But at the end of the day, her contribution was always centered on the children and the young people in the work. With her zany, wacky, wildly creative process that inspired me so very much. I had the distinct honor, as so many of us have had working with her for many years. When we started the Arts in the Schools program in '97 is when I first engaged, and we worked in literally every elementary school on projects that touched and inspired and changed the lives of so many kids. I would like to invite my partner Salvador to say a few words of welcome before we start with a canción by the wonderful David Garcia. I think he's standing in the wings somewhere. Salvador, por favor.
Thank you everybody for coming. This is a very special night for all of us, all the ones that we knew Rosalia. I met Rosalia, like Roger said, when I started working in the schools. 2010, I have a very special moment that I have with her. She encouraged me. We put a production in Albuquerque, and we had a play, La Semilla del Amor. And she encouraged me and pushed me to be part of it because it was bilingual. I have never spoke on the radio, spoke on a microphone, and yet here I was narrated in Spanish part of this play that I have the pleasure to narrate it along her. She was doing the English part, I was doing the Spanish part. And we have a few kids in here, one that was part of that play that we did in Albuquerque at the Disney Theater. I just wanted to share that because it's what she did here in the program and in the school, motivate the kids. And she always found something to convince the kids what they were good at and what they can contribute to it. So she has a special place in our hearts, and I'm gonna give the microphone back to Roger.
The last day that Salvador and I saw her, she left a text and said, I'm in the hospital and I'm going to be going to hospice. And we were like, so we raced over to the Espanola emergency room and sat with her for a few moments, and she was her usual jovial self and said, you know, I've been ill for a long time. I've been preparing and the angels are ready. And I just was dumbstruck because I didn't know the level of the illness and how long she had been really intentionally preparing to transition. 9 days later, she left us. I didn't see her after that first day, and I regret it, but her spirit does live on. David Garcia, are you ready? Por favor. David is known to many as Profe. Some of his students know him as a wonderful mentor. He's as humble as they come. He's a holder of knowledge, of music, of tradition, and he was a beloved friend of Rosalia. Would you like to share a word or two, or do you want to just begin your presentation, sir? Okay.
Thank you, Roger. Um, I'm probably not the person that appropriate to open this today's memorial, but I think in terms of oftentimes it's just with with such deep thought about the teachers that are around us and what they inspire us to do. It's important to think about the indelible mark that people have on a community. I met Rosalia as a student at Northern New Mexico Community College. It was still back in those days, so I'm dating myself. And it was just, there was an opportunity to see that, a rise in Chicana theater here in our valley, a person that championed, various, epistemologies about thought and theater, about our community. She worked in various realms of developing with other people, other types of other theaters here in the valley. But I always, there was like a group, cohort that I became very comfortable with when I went to Northern. That became our family. We'd all go to each other's shows. We'd go see each other's plays. And so I have a song today, which it's in Spanish, which I sing a lot of songs in Spanish. And Rosalia would always talk about curanderismo, no, and how she'd done research in that area. And for me, I've always thought, it's important that our songs serve as a place of healing, as a space for us to collectively heal, and then also honor our teachers that brought things back into focus for us. And so with this song, it's called Adiós con el Corazón. It's not a song I'd want to sing by myself, because it's a really sad song. But the words are very easy. And so it goes like this. If you even can hum with me, I think Rosalia will hear you. And it just starts off really soft. We're going to start off really soft. Mm-hmm. 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 I guess we're going to have to ask Rosalia to say, you have to use your voices. You have to use your theater voices. And it goes like this. It goes, adiós con el corazón, porque con el alma no puedo. Farewell with my heart, because with my soul I can't. You're the good of my life. You're the good of my soul. You're that purple bird that sings early in the morning. So here it goes. So if you don't know the words, hum it. And hopefully by the end of the song, you all are singing or humming this louder than I'm singing. Okay. Adiós con el corazón, porque con mi alma no puedo. Al despedirme de ti.
Fia here, sitting here with Rosalia Triana, also known as
De sentimiento me muero. Tú serás el bien de mi vida. Tú serás el bien de mi alma. Tú serás el pájaro pinto que alegre canta por la mañana. Adiós con el corazón, porque con mi alma no puedo al despedirme de ti. De sentimiento me muero. Tú Tú serás el bien de mi vida. Tú serás el bien de mi alma. Tú serás el pájaro morado que alegre canta por la mañana. Help me. Al despedirme de ti, de sentimiento me muero. Tú serás el bien de mi vida. Tú serás el bien de mi alma. Tú serás el pájaro pinto que alegre canta por la mañana. Adiós, Rosalia.
Qué hermosa. Gracias, David. One of our longtime students here, I had with us for approximately, goodness gracious, 25 years. Stephanie Martinez was a fifth grader, I believe, when we started the very first arts program in the Valley, in the elementary schools. And she became Rosalia's assistant this last 2 semesters. She said, Roger, let's create a montage, a video that has images and remnants from a podcast that highlights Rosalia's voice. Take it away. Roll tape.
Well, hi there.
All right, this is Sofia here, sitting here with Rosalia Triana, also known as Miss Purple.
Oh, dear. See, once you get old, there's too much to tell, so then you don't tell anything. I've done theater and film stuff all my life, but also teaching, and teaching is what I absolutely love.
Okay, so, oh no, that's today's class, which I think will be fun, although you can adapt it any way you want. So so reaching for the sky is the idea. And the characters there's a teen character.
I've done a lot of work with past life regressions, and that's been a very amazing and educational and surprising kind of side thing in my life that in a way really defines me, too. Yes.
Why do we bother with our past lives?
Funny you should ask. I actually pulled this up just moments ago. Why should we? So the thing that I've discovered over time, and again, I got into it quite accidentally. I had no idea what was happening back in 1971 when this started. But since then, I've done literally dozens and dozens of regressions with all kinds of different people, most of them strangers, a few with people I know. But there's always something to discover in a past life that helps you in this life. And it's never something you expect. I have so many stories to tell about that. Oh man. In the first past life, the first time I ever did a regression, which was, as I said, totally accidental. I was very sick. I had just had a baby. They had taken her from me because it was back in the days and I was young. And a few months later, I was very sick, and I ended up, somebody told me that this hypnotist he knew could help me. And I was like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. But I went. I don't know. I was so out of it. You know what I mean? I was just nowhere. I was so much in pain and unable to deal with it because you couldn't in those days. You know, you just had to pretend it didn't happen. And so I went with this guy to this group run by this hypnotist. Bear was my friend who had told me about it, and he took me. And many things happened in that session. But one of them was that at one point, I saw myself as a young man in Spain, and I was a courtier working for the court of Prince Philip. But I saw myself traveling somewhere and past a field, and I knew there were people that I knew nearby, and there was a little boy in the field. And I looked at him, and in what I was seeing, this young woman was there with him, and she said he was my son. And I denied it. It was a horrifying moment because inside my head I was screaming, you son of a bitch, you know that's your kid. And I rode off. And in that moment, I knew why I'd had to go through losing a child in this life.
Because of your,
Because I had done that. I had denied that child.
yeah, your denial towards that child.
Right, right. Which, and there were other things connected to that. But anyway, that was the first time I realized, oh, there's a reason we do this, and there's connections, you know. And then there was a double connection with it because I have a bunch of brothers and sisters in this life, but I have one brother who's always had kind of abandonment issues with me. And that boy, I recognized in that moment while I was still under, that was my brother Michael in this life.
And he became your baby.
He was my baby in that life, yeah. But yeah. Oh, you're right. I said that about him, didn't I? He was my baby in this life. Oh my God! Now, see, you just gave me that. When the next sister after him was born, he was only a little kid. He was like 4, and I was 12. And I remember holding him on my lap and saying, "You'll always be my baby."
Aww.
Oh my God! Okay, now you're gonna make me cry during my own little thing here. Well, anyway, that's how past life works. Things unfold, you know, things that you don't understand in this life suddenly make sense. And it helps you to just say, okay, now I know why that happened and I can handle it, and you can move on. So there's a lot of good work that can get done.
Test. Testing. Thank you so much, Stephanie. At the end of the program today, we're going to have an open mic moment. If people want to come up and share us a story, there'll be a segment for that. I'd like to invite to the microphone now Miss Wendy Hassemer. Wendy is a long-time educator in the Valley and was a dear, dear friend of Rosalia. About a month ago, she contacted me and said, Roger, can I please prepare some words? And I said, yes. And she's before me. Here we go. Where would you like to be?
On the stool.
Take it away. On the stool.
On the stool. Gracias.
I'll be the prop man.
That sounds good.
Take it away, Wendy.
Good afternoon. My name is Wendy Hassemer. Rosalia and I co-founded a theater. The end. Or not exactly the end. We first became aware of each other probably in the early 90s. She was the striking MFA running a theater program at Northern. I was the Anglo chick at the junior high or middle school who started a drama club and was hanging on by my fingernails. In the early summer of 1995, Rosalia was tapped to direct a play called Ave, and she put out audition requests for extras. My youngest, Jeremiah, who was an aspiring thespian, wanted to audition. So I took him over, and he got a part, and Rosalia and I exchanged pleasantries. And she said, "Have you thought about auditioning?" Huh. "Well, we've got a part." I said, "Yeah, but that's a singing part." She said, "Don't you sing?" "Yep, in the shower, at church, not in front of other people." Thank you, Mr. Weiss. She said, "You should try. Why don't you just audition? Read the role, cold read." Sure, why not? Somehow, I ended up on stage. The character was Devora. She was a fairly bitter, querulous woman of a certain age. Rose Caminiti got me through the singing. Rosalia and I worked on the acting. And it was really a lot of fun. We didn't run together again until 2012. My husband retired on January 1st. I was teaching at Pewaukee High School, and I was thinking about retiring, but I just hadn't gotten there yet. And a friend of mine called and said, "Hey, there's a sign on a building across from Valley National Bank that says that they're starting a little theater." And I said, "What?" And for those of you who are around my age, remember that we used to get a phone book and look up people's numbers. So I thought, I wonder if that's Rosalia. So I got the phone book and called her landline, and indeed it was not Rosalia. But then we started chatting, and I said, "Yeah, I'm thinking about retiring, and I don't know what I'm going to do next, and I don't want to sit at home and do nothing." So we got together for a conversation, the end result of which I did retire June 1st, and we decided to begin a theater. Totally crazy. We were told more than once that we were a very unlikely duo. Really? But we definitely had things in common. I heard that laugh, Rob. You're absolutely right. One was butterscotch pudding. Not that instant stuff, but the real stuff that you cook, right? Takes a little longer than 3 minutes. For some reason, we both had an extreme affinity for butterscotch pudding. In the beginning, we were very polite, and we would put it in bowls and eat it. As we got to know each other better, we'd just take the serving bowl and 2 spoons, and that would do it. So Española's Main Street Theater was born. We signed the lease the end of 2012. It was either on Rosalia's birthday or the day before. We didn't get to use the building actually until the following fall, 2013, due to technical and bathroom snafus. But we did finally get in and got going. We also discovered that we had a very strong passion both for theater and kids of pretty much any size, but in particular middle school and high school. And then the accident happened. The only person sitting in this room who knows as much about it or more is Rob. It was 10 years ago tomorrow. How can I be so sure? Well, because 10 years ago tomorrow, I turned 67, and 10 years, and tomorrow I will be 77. We had been to Los Alamos that evening. I had a really good friend who was 93 on that day, and we'd gone up to have a birthday dinner with her. And she was a fabulously entertaining lady. And Rosalia and I talked all the way back down about how the fact that we should figure out how to do documentary about this lady who'd spent her younger years in Alaska and all the different things she'd done. We went up in my car, so we left her car at St. Stephen's. I pulled into the parking lot. She got in her car. I waited till the lights went on and the car started. And then I pulled out of the parking lot and she was right behind me. And I was about 3 minutes ahead of her. And then Rob called me, I think around 11:30. And my memory was going down to the emergency room where they were pulling little pieces of glass out of her beautiful purple hair. Things got very tough after that. They were never quite the same. At the end of the summer, she was diagnosed with traumatic brain syndrome and pulled back from the theater in March of 2015. Would I do it all again? Well, not the part about the accident, no. The part about having a real, honest-to-God, legit theater where people could go see a live play or be in one on Main Street in Espanola and spend time with one of the most interesting and unique friends I've ever had. Even though we never said goodbye, really, and I don't think really said hello either. Thanks, Rosalia. I'll see you on the other side.
Wendy, thank you so much for those words. We're going to transition the stage now for a very special performance by New Mexico's own indigenous hip-hop artist of the year, right here from Okewinge, Brenda G. Precious. Okay, Brenda G. Precious will perform a beautiful song that she wrote called Angel on My Pillow. So, we ready? Let's move it back. Here comes Chris. Very good. Just a few minutes while we transition some props. Whoa. The performers are taking their place.
promise ever, never say never. Teardrops from heaven, angels do believe in. Shooting star wishes, kissing your ass. I lay it down to sleep. Praise the Lord to keep. Angels on your pillow, angels on your pillow. And while you dream, keep it safe for me. Praying that you'll sleep. Angels on your pillow. Angels on your pillow. I pray every day to keep harm at bay. The sun's rays gently kiss your face. Good morning, sunshine. Open your eyes. The pleasure's all mine. Praying you'll find happiness before you. Love that adores you. Life that floors you. As I lay you down to sleep, pray the Lord to keep. Angels on your pillow, angels on your pillow. And while you dream, keep it safe for me. Praying that you'll sleep. Angels on your pillow. Angels on your pillow. As I lay it down to sleep, pray the Lord to keep. Angels on your pillow, angels on your pillow. And while you dream, keep it safe for me. Praying that you'll sleep. Angels on your pillow. Angels on your pillow. Thank you. Please give it up for Alondra, for Kateri Kivama, and Sibokota.
Thank you so much. Alondra created this special dance, and she'd like to share just a few words of sentiment about our dear Rosalia.
Sorry. um, she was a very bright woman, a very wonderful woman. She always wears that purple hair that we all love, and she was so funny. And even though I was different, she made all of us felt very special. And without her, I don't know what I would be without Miss Purple. Thank you.
Thank you, Ros. Thank you, Alondra. Next, I'd like to bring up one of our instructors who lived very close to Rosalia, and this past year ended up driving with her and got to know her. Dolores Medina is our vocal teacher, our guitar teacher, and would like to perform a musical number in honor of Rosalia Triana. Por favor, Dolores. Would you like a stool? David's coming up también. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh, now we're in for trouble. A duet. How would you like this on the microphone here for the guitarra, and then we need one for the vocal. Okay.
I was telling Sal earlier that it hadn't hit me about Rosalia because, you know, I got to know her, and her car had broken down, and Stephanie was coming all the way from Velarde to give her a ride and taking her back, and I told her, I can give you a ride. I just live on the other side of the bridge. I lived in La Madera Arroyo. I lived on this side, and she lived on this side. So I picked her up, and we worked on the same days, and I would wait for her, and we would come, and we got to be very close. I didn't realize that she was going through a lot of pain. She suffered a lot. She was in a lot of constant pain. And her and Monica, my daughter Monica, used to butt heads. They used to fight. And she really, we talked about the afterlife. She told me, did you know that, because I used to tell her about a dream, and she goes, maybe it was your afterlife. And I told her, she also told me that she went to a college university, which was a Catholic university. And I asked her, which is your favorite song? And she told me that she liked How Great Thou Art. And she said, but I don't really practice my faith anymore. She says, but I know that God is always watching over me. And then she told me, I admire you a lot for your faith. And every time that we were going down the road, we joke around and everything. And her car had broken down, so I took her to go buy a vehicle, and my daughter Monica and I were with her. And when we went to go over there, the car dealer kept flirting with her. And I told her, look, he likes you, he likes you. And she said, oh no, I'm too old. I can't, I'm too old. And Monica was saying, he really likes you. And then, so we went again to go over there, and she was all, I think he does like me. But anyway, I want to sing this song. It's called How Great Thou Art, and David is going to join me. And so this is for Rosalia. She told me this was her favorite song. So we're going to try. This song, I learned it, so I'm gonna attempt it, and Davi's gonna follow me. And it's called Scars in Heaven. So bear with me if I don't sing it right, okay? If I only know the last time the last time, I would have put all the things I had to do. I would have stayed a little longer, held a little tighter, and now what I get for one day to be with you. 'Cause there's only one here in my heart where something's missing. And they tell me it's gonna heal with time. And I know you're in this place where all your wounds have been erased, and knowing yours are healed is healing mine. The only scars in heaven won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will be new. And the thoughts that make me smile now, even when the tears flow down. Only scars in heaven are the hands that hold you now. I know the road was walked anything but ease. Pick them when you share the scars along the way. Now you're standing in the sun. You fought the fight, the race is run. The pain is all a million miles away. The only scars in heaven won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, and all the old will make me new. And the thoughts that make you smile now, even when the tears fall down. The only scars in heaven are the hands that hold me now. Hallelujah. For the hands that hold me now.
Dolores, David, gracias. I'd like to invite to the stage now the final group of young people that were blessed to have worked with Rosalia. The last year, as they get in place, and maybe we can have some help removing these. Sal, can you help? Thank you. She cultivated a group that she called the Ultra Actors. They were the oldest students we had, between 17 and 22, and she took great pride in their work in cultivating deeply personal narratives that really drove from the base of their being, encouraged them to bring them forward. Thank you. Introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gilbert Armijo. I am 22 years old, and I've known Rosalia for, since class started? I don't really know anything else to say besides my monologue. And my monologue is called From Espanola. Well, since you asked so nicely, I'll tell you where I'm from. I'm from Española, so you must think of me as a druggie, or a loser, or maybe even a thief. Well, just so you know, I'm not. Yes, there's drugs in our streets, but that's everywhere you go, even in the big cities. But to the people of Española, this is home. This is our home.
Hi, my name is Keeleen Armijo. I was in Rosalia's last drama class, and I wrote a monologue called Me, and I don't know, it just reminded me of her while I was writing it, so. People think they know me, but they don't. They judge me before they even know me, and that is exactly why they don't know the real me. I mean, I could tell you all about myself, but I doubt you'll listen. My mistakes, my problems, they're a part of me, my past, but they don't have to be my future. My scars remind me what I've been through, what I've achieved, and what I've endured. It doesn't matter what I say, what I do, or even who I believe in, because there's always going to be somebody who doesn't like me, and that's okay, because I know who I am, and that's enough.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Hi, my name is Kendall Martinez. I go by Sky as well. I have known Rosalia since last summer, I believe, when I was an intern here. I had observed her drama class, and I wanted to be a part of it. So I asked Roger if I could be a part of it. He let me, and I have to say the drama class has been the best thing that I have done at Moving Arts, because Miss Purple let me be me. She allowed me to be myself. And writing this monologue made me think of her even more than when I first wrote it. This poem really sticks out. Walking through a field of daisies with such delight. I bet you were made for this. I bet you were designed for this. I wasn't. I would even kill to have a life like yours, to have it made for you on a silver platter. To live life to the fullest without worrying. I mean, the possibilities could be endless when you're not worrying about the past or the future. I grew up knowing tough love and how working till your hands fall off is enough for people. I cried rivers of tears, begged my mom not to send me to work. I wasn't ready for life to move so quickly, but yet life seems like it was ready for me to move forward, to forget my past experiences. But for so long, I couldn't move forward, live my life, be who I was meant to be. My tears led me to suicide. Months and months of smiling and grinning, I decided to leave. I wanted other people's things, other people's lives. I wanted everything in the whole world, just not my life. So excuse me if I want things given to me on a silver platter.
Hello, my name is Luis Martinez. I've been a student here at Moving Arts for about 2 years now. And I've known Rosalia for those 2 years. And those 2 years have been amazing from, with the time that I've known her. She was just always so ecstatic, so energy, like she put off like such good vibes. And she just really encouraged me to do the things that I love. I think I'm more open to doing a lot of things nowadays because of her. And so she just really inspired me a lot. And my monologue that I'm going to be doing is called Trapped, and it's by me. And it's just about basically having to be institutionalized all the time, and for different reasons, but yeah. Why am I here in this place that's so unfamiliar? This prison that's not called a prison. There's no shackles, but there's locked doors. It's not a prison, but it certainly feels like one. I don't know when I'll be free, but when I'm free, I will find my way home and be happy. I will find freedom and release my depression to find peace.
Thank you, Rosalia, for allowing all of us to be a part of the drama team. And thanks for just being that person that everybody needed for everybody. Thank you.
This brings us to the open mic portion. Storytelling is healing. If you have a special sentiment or a short story or a message you'd like to say, please come forward. This is the closing of our performance segment, but we have a meal following. As I said earlier, Rosalia loved our food, and so the culinary staff has created a vegetarian lasagna and a beautiful salad for your enjoyment. So does anyone have something they'd like to share about Rosalia? Por favor, come up and join the messaging here. So nice. Silvia, wow, that's who you are. I saw that beautiful hair and I didn't know who you were. I love you. Please.
Hello, my name is Silvia Ernestina Vergara, and it is a real loss to have learned that Rosalia had passed away. I just learned about this fairly recently, and we taught together at the college here in Española. And I remember when she got hired, she brought in a whole breath of fresh air into the college. And it was different and wild and wonderful. And it brought an enthusiasm that really touched a lot of people's lives. She had a background of where she had gone and really immersed professionally at a very high level in her area of expertise, of drama. And she brought that level to the college. We have this theater there that is truly magnificent. And we have actually several theaters in Rio Riba that are pretty amazing, but are not being used that much. This is a wonderful one. But at any rate, what Rosalia did was she knew how to run the light board, she knew every aspect of the theater, and she really immersed everybody in this fantasy, marvelous world of drama. I took actually one of her classes of writing plays, and it was really inspiring to work with her. And I remember everybody in the town, her programs would be totally sold out. Everybody in town would be going to see what was the next drama Rosalia was going to put on with the students. And so she really brought something with her and really brought to life, especially at that time at Northern, just a wonderful spirit. And I'm so glad that she continued to do that until she died. So, Rosalia, mil gracias por todo y espero que tu bendición en este valle se anda por siempre. Okay.
Thank you, Silvia, for speaking so eloquently and truthfully about her legacy, particularly at Northern. Is there anyone else who would like to share? You want to go first? Okay. You have the mic.
So, I don't know how many years I've known Rosalia, but my children were in moving arts, and they took the drama classes and enjoyed them, and it was a wonderful way to spend time and spend the summer. And in recent years, we were fortunate she'd come with my sister-in-law, Jennifer, and be there for our Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners, and we enjoyed having her there. But the story I wanted to tell is about, I was so, getting older. So I'm a physician, and I had to retake my boards, and I was so worried that I would do poorly on boards because I was older, and I was studying, and so worried and nervous, and she said, I'll come over and talk with you. We'll sit, and I'll talk with you. And we went, and I don't know, maybe some of this was past life regression type of thing, but I don't know how she did it, but she brought out, that's the thing she would do. She could inspire creativity in others, beautiful creativity. And she brought out this image, this sort of guardian, which was a huge orange tiger with soft black stripes riding on a Persian magic carpet. And I sat cradled by this image of this tiger as I did my boards, and I got a better score than I'd ever gotten in my entire life, thanks to Rosalia. And the tiger's name was Fermin. Anyway, that's my story.
Beautiful story. Please, come forward. Yeah, it's so nice. She was an exuberant tiger, for sure.
Hi, everybody. I'm Natasha. Rob, would you mind coming up? Becky, Elijah. I don't know who else of my friends. Mrs. Hassemer, that's here. Would you mind coming up? I don't know if Andre and Sonia are here tonight. Okay. So, hi everyone. Hi everyone. Rosalia was such magical, magnificent force. She had this magnetic energy about her, and she was just amazing. She brought us all together, all of us here, obviously. And she was just such an amazing person. I'm wearing her scarf, her gloves, and this beret. We did this play called Godspell, and Costume did this beret just for me, and Rosalia and I got into a beef about it. After production was done and everything was set, and she wanted it back, and I was like, no. I was like, Costume gave it to me, like it's mine, like I'm keeping it. And so all these years went by, and I was like, you know what? I was like, you can finally have it, you know, like we stopped fighting about that, and I have it back now. I loved Rosalia with all my heart. It's been what, like 20, 25 years, 26 years or something like that. Like when I was with Mrs. Hassemer, we did plays at the community college. We got there and she comes up to me and she's like, this is my house. Yeah. She's like, this is my house. She's like, you abide by my rules. And I was like, I was so taken aback. I was intimidated, you know, I was scared. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, okay, like I won't bring any drinks in here. I'll be quiet. I'll be okay. Man, I fell in love with her. I fell in love with her since that day. And I'm still in love with her to this day. She meant the world to me. She taught me so much. She's in my heart. She always will be. And she was an amazing person, as you all know. So thank you all for being here, and gracias, Rosalia. I love you, Rosa. I love you, Rosa.
Thank you, Natasha. I wasn't going to say anything, but since I was right here and I took the mic, she was so inspiring to us and to my family. My name is Becky Archuleta. I'm the certified nurse midwife at Espanola Hospital, and I don't know if I'd be in that role without her guidance. The words she said to me when I made the choice to pursue my higher education, to go that route, she looked at me and she said, well, you're already a midwife, just do it. I see it in you, just do it. So I did, and she was always my #1 cheerleader. And when I found out that she was at the hospital that day and didn't really want any visitors, I used my backdoor pass, and I went in and I talked with her, and told her that I would midwife her out if I could, because that was my job. We talked, and we shared, and she would doze off, and excuse my language, but she would wake up, and she'd be like, fuck, I'm still here. Which, you know, obviously you all know Rosalia, that was kind of how she was. And so just to have those last few hours with her in that moment brought it all around to me. And, you know, how inspiring she was to my children who were both involved in her programs, to my husband with his music, spending time with her at, you know, whatever band we were playing in at the time, at the Imperial Rooster shows, or, you know, whatever show we were at, drinking wine together at weddings. She always told me, I never drink, I just was only at weddings. So we'd be at a wedding, she'd be drinking wine, it was great. I have so many fond memories. I'm so thankful to share the energy with you guys today, and just be so inspired her forever. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I don't typically talk in front of people, so you have to bear with me, but in August of 2000, I stumbled into a theater building, and I met a bunch of people who, quite frankly, frightened the hell out of me, and I was lost, and I was looking for a class, and Rosalia said, "Who are you?" So, "I don't know." And I said, "Where are you from?" "You're not from here." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm from Massachusetts." "And you're not Italian, don't tell people that." And I'm like, "Oh, no, you're black." I said, "I am." And I didn't know, because I hadn't met my father yet. So she had sat me down and gave me this whole speech about learning who I was and figuring out my place in the world and understanding my gifts, which I didn't know I had any gifts, quite frankly, because I hadn't gotten an education and I didn't even know why I was there. And then she said to me, "And you can act." And I said, "I can't." And she said, "You can." And I said, "I don't know who you are, but you're terrifying." And by the time I left that building in August of 2000, I was a strong, proud black woman who was an actress. And and at the end of the day, I found family. Family I didn't even know that I needed, family I didn't know that I wanted, and family that I didn't know that I had. And I told Rosalia, "If you're anything, I'm going to get you a business card that says Professional Muse." Because she was the most inspiring person I had ever met in my life. And long story short, we did 1 million shows together. I did all of her costumes for 7 years, and I was a costumier too, by the way. I didn't know that.
This beret.
Viva. And my heart is broken. And the island of misfit toys is missing its guardian and its goddess. And every day, I am grateful that I stumbled into that building and found who I was. And I will never forget, Rosalia sat me down one day, and she would tell me things I did not want to hear, I promise you. But she told me, "Would you rather have a bunch of soft lies or some hard truths?" I said, "I would rather have the truth." And she said, "Well, you're going to get the truth, and you're not going to like it, and you're going to be pissed, and you're going to hate me, and you're going to love me." And at the end of the day, I could not have loved another person. And nobody was more important to my growth as a human being as the day that I met Rosalia and these wonderful people in Española, a town that we are all so proud to be part of. And for all malcriadas out there, thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening, and thank you for honoring such a beautiful person, such a beautiful way. God bless you.
Thank you guys for coming up with me to the stage, because I needed y'all's energy and y'all's support. I appreciate it. Thank you, my friends.
There are 3 young ladies to my left that must come to the microphone. Because it's live streamed. It's being live streamed, so we need a mic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've. Huh? Oh yeah, you do. You got that already. Yeah, I think we all probably met Rosalia when we were like under 10, probably 8. Who knows? Our whole lives. And yeah, I don't know. I've been reflecting a lot on the spaces she provided to us and the lessons she taught us, and just like the wonderful human that she was. And yeah, I mean, Main Street, like, I mean, she taught us a lot of theater, but most of my memories were dressing up in the costumes room and coloring and being idiots together, and her accepting and watering our little idiotism. And yeah, you know, I went to NMSA, and she's the one that, she, you know, drove all the way out to El Rito to help Karina and I do our auditions when we were like 10. And, you know, she's always been like, she was always the biggest supporter of just be yourself and you're good enough and don't listen to what anyone else has to say. And, you know, I live with that every day. And I don't know, I don't want to talk about myself, but also I attribute so much of this to her. But I've been working in like film and TV, and just November, I got to do my first film, and it was a beautiful, wonderful experience. And one of my, thank you, no, thank you. And one of my co-stars and I had been talking, and he was telling me that he still was in contact with his first theater teacher, and I was like, oh yeah, me too, she's around here, man. But I hadn't spoken to her in about a year. And he was like, oh yeah, I call mine every week. And I was like, oh, I should do that. And the day after we wrapped, I was like, okay, I finally have time to call and talk to her. And I can tell her all about this wonderful experience. And I opened Facebook. And yeah, I'm really heartbroken that I never got to have that last conversation with her. But, you know, she's gonna live with me in my heart every day, man. And yeah, she was just, I think, every time that I'm feeling self-conscious or like, oh, being a little bit too much or whatever, she never thought that, dude. She would never, ever think that about herself or about someone else. And, you know, I loved her. And I'm going to stop talking because I'm just going to be weepy for the rest of this now.
I have no perfect words to say about Miss Purple. I just remember how excited she was, and she just made me so happy and maybe not less afraid, but she gave me tools that I needed to face the fears that I had. And she was, it's a little sad to say that it's not often that a kid finds some adults in their life that truly make them feel heard and safe. And she made me feel like every word out of my mouth, no matter how wild or crazy, she made me feel like they had weight. And like, if I have something to say, then I should say it, and I shouldn't hold anything in. And she made me feel so passionate. She helped me embrace my passion and focus my passion. And I will never be able to say thank you enough to her for that, for really giving me courage and strength and knowing that I had it all along. And I will always remember that she is one of the reasons I went to high school. But I will always love her. And I know that she always loved me. She always loved us. And those are my imperfect words, but she truly did so much for me that I will never, ever forget, and I will always hold her close to my heart.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Malaya Peixinho. I remember one time at the First Moving Arts building, I was super curious because there's like this dark room and there's all this noise happening, and I was like, what's going on? And I peeked my head in, and sure enough, my cousin was cross-dressing as Cinderella, and Miss Purple was directing this play, and I was like, I want to do theater, and she pretty much dragged me to Sonia and said, you need to sign up for this theater class. And I was in my first play ever, and then I fell in love with theater, as Miss Purple was in love with theater. And I remember years later, I was getting ready to audition for the New Mexico School of the Arts in the theater program. And I had asked her to help me with my monologues, and we were in this building, right here actually. And she was sitting in a chair, and I was on the floor, and I had been running this monologue over and over again, and it was a very sad monologue, and I couldn't quite connect to it. And Miss Purple looked at me, and she said, well, why are you afraid to cry? Oh, man, I froze. And then she says, are you afraid to cry because you think you'll never stop? And I broke down. Then she held me. And I cried and cried and cried. And sure enough, I did stop. And it was that ability to cry that she gifted me with that day. And so when I found out about her passing, I cried. And I knew it would be okay because I knew I would stop crying. And I could remember her holding me. We went to Main Street Theater together, all three of us. She gave me best friends, which I had never had before. She gave me teachers. She gave me courage. So, you know, there's not much that Miss Purple didn't offer us. I know each and every single one of us here is feeling the loss of her. But she's still here. And I still see her with each and every one of you. And I know I was like, the whole time I was watching these performances, you guys did great. I was like seeing Miss Purple just cracking up. Like she would have been just loving it, being called a goddess, being called a muse. Like she would have been so into it. So thank you all for being here and honoring Miss Purple in all the ways that she deserved. So, yeah. Can we get a selfie?
In front of all these people.
No, wait, turn around.
Now you're all part of it.
Okay, smile, everyone. Okay.
I love it. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Elijah Trujillo, and I've known Rosalia since sometime in the mid-'90s. I can't remember exactly what year, but with the Espanola Valley Arts Council, there was various classes that were being taught. Theater was one of them. My dad was on the board, and so we got into those classes since then. And then when I started going to college over at Northern New Mexico Community College, while it was still a community college, I took theater my first few semesters over there. And one of my favorite memories with her, we did The Nightmare Before Christmas. And that's where I met Natasha. And it was like such an amazing experience, and it was like the funnest play to ever do. And being here today made me really realize the impact that Rosalia had on my life, on that. Like after that, I was learning how to play guitar during that time, and I've gone on to do various performances. And it's in those theater classes that she taught me how not to be afraid of the stage. It's like she really helped with my stage performance, no matter what it was that I was doing. And I transcribed that onto performing guitar. And like it's also helped me with my public speaking as well, being able to be on stage, have that presence, and just really project myself. And like, you know, that's a skill that Rosalia taught me. And like, I really wish she was here to be able to hear me say this and to give her that thanks, because like she really did have an impact on my life. And it's like, I'm a performer, and she's one of the people that helped bring that out of me. So I'm going to be forever grateful for her for that.
Thank you so much. These words and spirits are amazing. Please.
just to say, I was with Rosalia at the end in the hospital, and she and I wrote together for many years. The last days of her life, I wrote and posted on Facebook so that you guys could see it, and her family was okay with it. And then the family wanted me to print them. So these little books are out front, and they're called Beautiful Girl, because in the hospital and in the hospice, everybody who came up to her, she said, "Beautiful girl." She called everybody beautiful at the end. And probably my favorite thing was, one of the last things she did was laugh. She, in the hospice, at the end, she couldn't speak very well, but she recognized everybody's voice. She remembered. She knew who was speaking to her. And one of the last things she did was she laughed. And that I will always remember. So the books are out there. They're for you. And the family, I know, is here with you all in spirit and understands just how much you all love her. And I think Rosalia knew that too. So thanks.
Hi, everyone. As you heard, I met Miss Purple during the summer, and while attending her, I guess, teen going into adult drama class, I always didn't like her, I guess, the games that she would do, like the name game where we would toss a little, they're like stress toys. I don't know what they call them, but we would throw that, learn each other's names, and get to know one another. And I never liked that game, and she knew that. So when it came down to always attending her class and everything, she always knew that I ran the drama class. I always made it about what games we should do, and I was the one that came up with ideas to do improv games, which I learned with Miss Delilah at Pewaukee. And lucky enough, she knew Miss Delilah. And when I was explaining these games, she was so pumped about them. She would be like, "What new ones do you know?" Or, I would come up with just different games for her, and I'm sorry if I'm shaking. Like I said before, she was the reason why I joined the drama club. She made the drama club feel very welcomed, and I got to meet new people and bring my best friend in it, which she loved drama and all that fun stuff. And the last conversation that I had with her was the performance for the little kids, the first performance, Spread Your Wings. We talked about, what about the second performance, and it just thinking about it, I wish she was there. And I knew she wasn't gone. She was still here. She was, very sick. And after I read my monologue and I had introduced myself and everything, I had said that I am grateful for Miss Purple. I am grateful that she was the reason I joined Drama Club. She was the reason I got to meet wonderful people and let me express myself to who I am as a person. She let me feel that my coping mechanisms were valid. She made everyone around her feel very valid. And going back to when I last had that conversation with her, and hearing that she was sick, I'll be honest, I didn't have no emotion. I didn't believe it. I didn't, because I know she was hurting, but I didn't believe it. And I know Stephanie had came to my house crying, and I didn't feel anything. And I know that sounds very, excuse my language, but fucked up, but I didn't know how to feel. It was very new, and it was very shocked to me. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. After a couple of days and, praying that Miss Purple would get better and I would see her and she would see our performance and everything, I had went on Facebook and I had learned that she had passed away because I was scrolling and I had saw Miss Purple posted on her Facebook. So I was like, oh my gosh, she posted. I haven't seen a recent post. So and all I could see was R.I.P. Rosalia. I cried, and I cried and cried, and I didn't believe it, because I thought I would see her, and I get very close to people that make a big impact in my life, and she was one of those people. And I don't think I'll ever forget a person like her. And just like all of you that attend this, I know that Miss Purple made a big, big impact in each and everybody's hearts and minds and souls. And I do generally believe, coming from the traditional side, I think she is still here. She's within everybody's hearts. She could be standing right next to me and holding me and feeling that she did make a big impact. She did what she had to do in this life. Whether people had disagreements about her or arguments or whatnot, just seeing all of you, seeing all of you guys, I think she feels good in her heart and she feels like she did what she needed to do in life. So thank you for everybody that attended, and thank you, Miss Purple, for being here. Thank you. Thank you for letting me talk.
Got it. Thank you, Sky. As you can see, is there one more? Yes, Mr. Max. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Max. I don't really have anything prepped to say, and if you can tell, I'm shaking. I've been acting since Main Street Theater opened, and I still get stage fright, or at least sometimes I get scared to say words like these out loud. I have known Rosalia for a long time, since I was very, very little. She had worked closely with the band The Imperial Rooster, which my dad was the drummer for. And I remember, I think the first time I ever got to act with anyone, the first time I ever did theater with anyone, was with Rosalia. And it was just, it inspired me so much. And then I continued classes with Sonia, first at Main Street Theater, then here. And I just had so much joy in acting and expressing myself here on this stage a lot for years. And I remember I always had doubt in my acting abilities. I never, still do. I never felt like I was 100% at the place where I wanted to be. But I remember she would always come to my shows here. And I remember one time after a show, she had told me something that like really stuck with me. And she had said that she had worked closely with Robert Downey Sr., father of Robert Downey Jr. And I remember she had told me that she had seen when he was a kid and how much of a spark he had for acting. And she said that she had never seen that much of a spark only in a few people. And she said that I was one of those people, and that always stuck with me, and that kept me acting. And I remember bragging about that fact to anyone, that Rosalia would say such kind things about me. Even if they didn't know her, I'd be like, one of the closest people, most important people in my life, just always was there to validate me. And after every show, she was always my biggest fan and would give me the biggest advice, and was just such a warm person to talk to. And I remember hearing my parents talk about the accident and being so worried about her. I remember seeing her recently at one of the more recent Moving Arts shows. I was hoping to get her to see what was going to be my last show, which was in October. I had lost a lot of the spark I had for acting. I had ended up going to NMSA, and despite my love for the school and despite my love for acting, I had just lost a lot of the passion as it become routine for me. And so I was ready to retire, and I was going to do my last show. And I remember wanting to invite her, and I just blanked because I'm ditzy, and I heard she was in the hospital, and I saw her, and we talked, and it was nice, and it was reassuring, and she was disappointed she didn't get to see the last show, but I remember telling her that I was going to keep acting. And I think she inspired me and so many people in so many different ways to perform, to be good people, and I think cutting off that legacy wouldn't be doing her justice. And I really would love to continue acting and hopefully one day even teach other actors to continue acting, because it's just such a beautiful, warm, amazing thing. And she was just the most energetic and wonderful person if you ever got to talk to her. Even the last day that I got to talk to her when she was in the hospital, she was more energetic than I'd seen her most other days, and I was just appalled. It didn't feel like she was near being gone, and she isn't gone. But it was beautiful to get to see her and to get to tell her how important she was to me and how much I loved her. And I'm going to miss her a lot. And I remember walking out of that hospital room, and the nurse had made a remark about how and I was sobbing. My whole family was. And a nurse had made a remark about how people had been walking in and out all day, all week. And it made me feel happy, and it made me feel assured that I wasn't the only one who got to say goodbye, and that so many people got to share that moment with her. And I'm thankful for her in my life, and I'm thankful for her every day, and I hope that I can continue that beautiful purple phoenix spark that she had with her. So, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Adam, I see you there with that hat. A long relationship at Northern New Mexico College. I met you because of Rosalia. Take it away, sir.
Rosalia was magic. From the first day I met her, she pulled out her deck of tarot cards, laid them out, let me choose one. From that day, she laid out my entire life. She told me how I was going to live, the challenges I would face, and that I would be here, right here on the stage today. This is a little unusual considering I was 5 years old, but to this day, here I am, living the life exactly as she told me I would.
Thank you so much, Adam. Yes, please. There's a couple more.
I'm going to make mine short and sweet, but magic follows magic, and that's the word I have that describes Rosalia. It's so funny, people talk about Rosalia, and one of the things I think about Rosalia that's so, that kind of speaks to her dichotomy, like the many facets of Rosalia, is that she was one of the most grounded people I know. Just very solid, very human, and very real. But man, did that woman bring magic. And I want to talk about the very first time I met Rosalia. I had seen her photo. Robert is one of my friends since I was a teenager. We are very old friends, and he moved to Chimayo from California to be with myself and my former husband. We were all close friends. And he came and lived near us and lived there for a while. And one day he came and he said, I met this woman. And he showed us her photo. And it was this like fabulous, actress headshot. She's an actress, he says. But we hadn't met her. And the first day that we in fact met her was we were going to see a show in Taos. Robert lived in Chimayo. And we decided to go to the show to see the Scotalites in Taos. Yeah. Good old-fashioned ska music together. And Rosalia was going to be there. And a couple other friends, I guess, were meeting us there. So we drive up there and we meet her, and she's fabulous. We're driving up to Taos, and we're having all those getting to know you kind of conversations. And when we get to the venue, Kachina Lodge, we get to the Kachina Lodge, and we're standing in the lobby, and I was noticing Wendy with all her like perfect dates and remembrances, and I'm really not good with numbers or details, but we're standing in the lobby, and I think there were 6 of us, and we look at our tickets, and we are 1 ticket short to get into this show, and man, we all really want to go. And Rosalia and I look at each other, and we're like, okay, we're going to magic this. We're going to get into this show. Everybody gets to go. So we stand there, and we're and Rosalia's like, I'm going to put a little light around us, and we're just going to walk in. And we walk up to the ticket taker, and we hand our 5 tickets, and there are 6 of us. And the guy just lets us in. And that's how she works her magic. And kids, if you're wanting her to see her show, she's watching. Because she's ready. She was ready to go. She knew where she was going. She was not afraid. And she's got the magic to be wherever she wants to be. So thanks, Rosalia, for bringing magic to all of us.
Everybody, we have a wonderful meal ready for us out in the lobby. And we also have a mic there and a setup. So we can continue this while we eat, if that's okay with everyone. Youth, I didn't mean to turn you away, but we really have to try to move towards the dinner. It's 6 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. Let's transition out and have some food. Thank you.